On Sky News Business, this is Business Class.
Hi, I'm James Wilkinson and welcome to Business Class. Today's show is coming to you from downtown Los Angeles. Before we showcase some great things in downtown LA, here's this week's travel news. In travel news this week, Qantas and Air New Zealand have both released huge results, with the carriers posting their highest and second highest profits respectively. Qantas reported an underlying profit before tax of $1.6 billion for the 2018 financial year, a record for the airline. Across the Tasman, Air New Zealand announced earnings before taxation for the 2018 financial year of $540 million, an increase from the prior year result of $527 million, representing the second highest profit in the airline's history. Both airlines used the announcements to reveal some news. Qantas announced an extension of its Global Lounge Improvement Program. The multi-million-dollar program will see the airline upgrade 6 lounges in Auckland, Brisbane, Hobart, Sydney, Tamworth and Tokyo. Those announcements are in addition to lounge upgrades currently underway in Melbourne and Sydney. Air New Zealand revealed it would lease 3 wide-body 777 aircraft as well as make adjustments to its schedule as the airline continues to work through the Boeing 787 maintenance requirements associated with the global Rolls-Royce Trent 1000 engine issues. Air New Zealand CEO Christopher Luxon said 2019 promises to be an exciting year for the airline and its customers.
Well, the good thing is with the profitability of the company, that enables us to reinvest really strongly back into the customer experience. So over the next 4 years, we'll spend another $150 million, constantly upgrading the interiors of our aircraft, investing more strongly in lounges, certainly bringing a lot more digital innovations to markets that are available for our customers as well. So it's a really good result that enables us to continue to invest and to strengthen and improve the customer experience for our customers.
Still on airline news, and Qatar Airways has announced it's expanded its collaboration with Australian chef and restaurateur George Kalambaris, who will create a new edition of Greek-inspired in-flight dining options for the airline starting on September 1. The new menus will be available to first and business class passengers travelling from Adelaide, Melbourne, Perth and Sydney to Doha in Qatar. Qatar Airways is also working with Chef Kalambaris to feature his signature touch on the airline's economy class menus, due to debut in the first quarter of 2019. Virgin Australia's wide-body 777s that fly from Australia to LA recently had Wi-Fi installed. Let's go behind the scenes on the project.
We are so excited to be the first Australian airline to be offering Wi-Fi internationally. And right behind me here, you can see the last of our 777 aircraft that's being installed with Wi-Fi ready for launch today. We've been trialling it quietly in the background for a number of months now, with 1 aircraft available to our guests to try. Over the course of those few months, we've been able to tweak the technology enough to improve the experience every flight. And the feedback from our guests now is just fantastic. We've uncovered a phenomenon called net lag. Net lag refers to the experience that our guests have when they're disconnected for a period of time because they're in flight. And we know that 65% of Australians are really anxious about what's happening while they're in flight and can't communicate with their friends and family. What we've been able to do with the enablement of Wi-Fi on our aircraft is take some of that anxiety away. And anxiety is obviously a key factor when it comes to flying for people who don't do it all the time. The project has been unbelievably huge. The last of our 777s, this will take about 2 weeks to install Wi-Fi on this aircraft. But what's really important to understand is the contribution that's been made by so many teams right across our business. Engineering, for example, have had huge amounts of teams dedicated to becoming specialists effectively in being able to do this, because it's not a straightforward operation, that's for sure. The people who are addicted to social media are the biggest sufferers of this condition called net lag. So we've got no doubt that those people will be really big users of all their favourite social media applications while they're in flight.
One of the newest offerings at LAX International Airport is the luxurious private suite. Here's what it's all about. The private suite at Los Angeles International Airport delivers one of the most seamless and luxurious approaches to airline travel we've ever seen. It dramatically enhances the LAX experience with a new private terminal offering high-end security, logistics and 5-star services. Eliminating the congestion of traffic and crowds, guests enter LAX through a special gate and are welcomed inside the exclusive compound when they can work or relax, while all travel and baggage needs are handled by the private suite. Guests enjoy private TSA screening, on-site customs and immigration processing, the comfort of their own suite and the convenience of direct transportation across the tarmac to their aircraft in BMW 7 Series sedans, streamlining the typical LAX experience with unprecedented privacy, comfort and service at every turn. Each suite features its own bathroom, food service pantry, a 2-person day bed and great views of aircraft landing and taking off. The private suite also offers arrival services for guests with a layover or for those who prefer to depart the airport in privacy. You can pre-order your food and haircuts and massages are also available on request. Memberships are available from $4,500 per year. Coming up after the break, we check into one of the hottest hotels in LA.
Welcome back to Business Class.
Welcome back to Business Class. It's time for this week's Foodie Files, starting in the Big Apple. Well, it's good to see Australia's huge contribution to American dining culture is finally being recognised. This week, Eater New York ran an online guide to what they're calling 12 bloody great Australian cafes in NYC. Yep, it's a tribute to avocado toast, flat whites and burgers with beetroot and pineapple, part of a strong and distinctive cafe culture that has helped New Yorkers kick the Starbucks habit. So if you're heading stateside, say g'day to the likes of Toby's Estate, Little Collins, Hole in the Wall and the one founded by former AFL footballer Nicholas Stone, that's Bluestone Lane. Back home, I've been in the Yarra Valley, checking out a winery restaurant. And yes, I know Oak Ridge is the food critics' darling right now, but I want to tell you it's certainly not the only one worth a look, especially if the food side of a winery rates as highly with you as the drink side. Yep, so I'm talking about Tarrawarra Estate. They have a new chef, Mark Ebbels. He's a Yarra Valley native. He had a lengthy stint in England as chef and recipe developer at Heston Blumenthal's 3 Michelin-starred Fat Duck, and he's a vegetarian. Fear not though, he can cook a crispy pork belly as well as any hardened carnivore. He'll just serve it with a puree of Tuscan kale, one of the more exciting things you can do with kale, and it really shows off his talent with plant-based ingredients. So yes, there is meat to go with all that very on-trend veg, and the cooking, the produce and the presentation here are all spot on. You can also really sit back and enjoy a drink at Tarrawarra because the estate's own labels are offered at retail price or less, and that's pretty rare in a restaurant anywhere these days. So back to Melbourne and to the small and stylish Ides in Collingwood. Well, what to make of dinner that starts out with a bowl of pebbles? Turns out there are baby salted mushrooms hidden among those pebbles and you get to fish them out yourself. Yes, it's fair to say Ides chef Peter Gunn has a sense of humour. It's also fair to say he doesn't let the tricks get in the way of his considerable talent. This is ambitious yet very approachable food from a chef who's in tune with all the trends, but unlike some of his peers, isn't about to serve you high-end rabbit food. Yes, at Ides you really do get to eat. It's a set menu, it starts with a flurry of snacks, and it's likely to include lamb ribs, bacon broth, and Robbins Island Wagyu with the most wonderful beef fat sauce. So that's Ides in Smith Street, Collingwood, and yes, I loved it. Well, that's it from me. That's it from Foodie Files. It's back to James Wilkinson in LA.
The Hotel Figueroa is one of the hottest new hotels in downtown Los Angeles thanks to an epic makeover of a historic building. Let's go inside. Once an exclusive women's hotel and later a local haunt for Moroccan-themed soirees, Hotel Figueroa in downtown Los Angeles has re-emerged from a 2-year restoration inspired by its original 1926 Spanish colonial splendor. Reclaiming its legacy in downtown, the 14-story luxury hotel features 268 rooms and suites, 10,000 square feet of event space, locally sourced art, and an iconic pool within a botanical hideaway. The downtown Los Angeles hotel spotlights 2 destination restaurants, Breva and Veranda, conceived by James Beard Award nominee chef Casey Lane from Venice Beach's Tasting Kitchen. The drinks program comes courtesy of Dushan Zaric of New York City's Employees Only. Zaric pours a progressive spirit into the hotel's bars, including Bar Figueroa, Rick's, and the reservations only Bar Alta. Hotel Figueroa has arrived, and it's one of the best new hotels in not just Los Angeles, but all of the United States. Heading up the restaurants here at the Hotel Figueroa is top LA chef Casey Lane. We caught up with him to talk about food trends and much more. Casey, we're here at the Hotel Figueroa and we're at Veranda Restaurant, which is your newest dining concept in LA. What's the concept of the Fig all about?
The concept of the Fig was bringing back kind of the Spanish, French, like original design, and so they restored it to what it was, and we kind of followed suit with a little bit of the food. My family's all from the south of France, so kind of growing up with that culture, with that style of like simplistic eating, as well as, you know, some of the brasserie food shows the variation in what we've done with the spaces. You know, Breva is a very like intimate brasserie and like with some heavier, like rich, like composed French food. Now to Veranda, we really wanted to make a light kind of coastal menu that is just, it's really easy to eat by a pool. It's really easy to eat like kind of throughout the afternoon without feeling so gluttonous and heavy that like you need to go take a nap afterwards. So we got into simple roast chickens, roasted fish in the ovens, a lot of vegetable dishes, and just kind of creating a great poolside restaurant for the property.
So Casey, downtown's really going through this whole culinary adventure at the moment, isn't it, with a lot of restaurants coming in?
Yeah, a lot of restaurants, a lot of really talented chefs and just restaurateurs coming in, finding a community that has been kind of reforming itself into the creative hub of Los Angeles over the past 7 years probably, and like it's really starting to blossom. You can see it. You can see that now there's opportunity for you to really live downtown and have a lot of great outlets, you know, much more kind of the way that like downtown Manhattan is.
And you've got a couple more spots here in LA. You've got one down in Venice and one in West Hollywood. And how does the cuisine change at all of your spaces in LA? They're all very, very, a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing about being an operator, and like I love, whenever I think about where to go, it's the neighborhood. It is who are the people that we're actually going to be feeding. Because I could do the same concept in Venice, in Beverly Hills, and it would not work. People would think the food was good, it would be fine, but it wouldn't work. I could do the same thing in West Hollywood as downtown, and it wouldn't work. So getting to be a part of these communities and getting to understand like what do they hold dear, like what do they love, why do they go out, and then being able to kind of create the concept and curate it to really become a part of the neighborhood, as well as just, you know, put on hopefully some good cooking and hospitality for people.
It's funny when you look at food cities, and LA traditionally was a very different kind of food city. Now it's really becoming a lot more refined in a number of aspects, isn't it?
I think that all of the game has been elevated once again because of just time and technique and great cooks. You know, so many people from the Tasting Kitchen in Venice were 10 years old at this point. They're now have their own restaurants and they're chefs, and this is not exclusive to us, right? This is David Lefebvre, and this is Nancy Silverton, and this is Michael Smarusti, and it's everyone kind of just getting great training from some really talented people that are now making it one of the better places to eat in the country. And then so much cultural diversity that I think that was so genuine, because you have such pockets of complete just like cultural immersion from it being their communities, their stores, their bars, their style of eating, and like you mix that kind of depth of what you get to experience and what you get to play with some very skilled kind of culinary technicians and like some creative people running the restaurants, and it is definitely having a moment.
Yeah, and your concept here is that it's open at 7 in the morning for breakfast, stay open till 2 a.m. because there is a market that wants to have great food late at night as well, isn't there?
Late at night is when I get to eat at the end of the day, you know, having the traditional dinner for really not even just for being in the restaurant field, but everyone that I know from banks to lawyers to anyone that works so hard to achieve their goal, 7, 8 o'clock doesn't really work, you know?
Yeah.
Like you end up having drinks at 7 or 8 o'clock, recapping the day, getting ready for tomorrow, and then I want dinner at like 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock, or even later relative to what's going on. So we like to provide that because it's, I think selfishly, so much of what I do is actually just what I want to be available, and then I'm lucky that other people agree.
And you're in a brand new, or effectively brand new hotel, given what this place used to be. What really attracted you to this project?
The idea of the history of the property, honestly, and being so unique to have been in downtown for so long, and really getting to bring it back to life, and once again in more of a restoration than in a renovation, you know, like getting to restore some of the original like work, as well as, you know, just from the architecture and the art, and making it like kind of a creative cultural hub, but even from the food, and like allowing it to really be like a neighborhood space and a neighborhood restaurant that is in a great hotel.
Dushan Zaric heads up the drinks program here at the Hotel Figueroa, and he's well known for his employees-only venues across the world, which is soon coming to Sydney. We had the chance to catch up with him about classic cocktails, his global growth, and much more. All right, Dushan, thank you so much for your time today. We're here at the fantastic new Hotel Figueroa in downtown Los Angeles, and tell us about the amazing bar concept you have here. The drinks across this entire hotel are amazing.
Yeah, thank you. We started this concept at the invitation of the ownership to develop something very local, but also very global as well, that kind of follows the trends in hospitality globally. And they wanted to basically integrate my idea and Chef Casey Lane's idea of hospitality into the whole renovation, so that our food and beverage outlets reflect the hospitality philosophy that all of us stand behind. So it's a big privilege to be able to run so many outlets, to be involved in this very old and historic hotel. And it was beyond inspiring to actually work and create all these programs.
I was saying before, this hotel's really popped up under the radar in downtown Los Angeles. I don't remember anything fancy being anywhere on this lot right now where we are. So this is a huge change and a really great project.
Yeah, I mean, we took our time renovating this hotel. This hotel was the only hotel in downtown LA that was actually built originally as a hotel. It was also the only hotel in the whole country that was founded and operated by women. In the 1920s, a few very brave and courageous women made their way out of New York to Los Angeles here and opened this hotel as primarily a safe house for women actresses and their families. And so it has a lot of history to it. Hotel went through some changes through the years, and when the current ownership acquired it, they wanted to bring it back to its original glory, the old colonial Spanish kind of design, and that's where we all came in with our food and drink concepts as well.
Because most of it down here is obviously just new build projects where they're just from the ground up, whereas this was really taking the bones of something really good and enhancing it, right?
Yes, this is not a brand that has transferred from other markets. This is not certainly not a brand that belongs to any other big operator. This is a brand that's independently owned, and it's its own thing, and that's why I'm attracted to be there, because I can't be put into that whole corporate thing. So this for me is very comfortable.
And you've opened up some of the best bars around the world through the employees only label, which is something that started obviously in New York and is now in cities like Singapore and Hong Kong, coming to Sydney very, very soon, isn't it?
That's correct. Yeah, we are privileged to hopefully mid-October, maybe end of October, finally open the doors on Barrack Street in CBD in Sydney, and I'm extremely, extremely excited about that.
And you've also been at the forefront of cocktails for so many years now, and I personally love to see the fact that classics are just at the forefront of everything at the moment around the world. How's that trend for you?
Well, you know, AC/DC is always going to be quality because it's classic, right? Yeah. And the same thing goes to cocktails. There is a reason they're classics. There's a reason they have a gastronomical place in the overall food and drink concepts. And I use the classics mostly because they pair very well with your after work, pre-dinner kind of atmosphere and energy. And I think just classics are amazing. And we can riff on them, we can jam on them, we can do all kinds of cool new techniques, and that's all good. But I think classics deserve to always be at the forefront, because if a bartender is really good, their classics are amazing. Yeah. You know, it's easy to make cocktails with, you know, big flavors. Like when a young chef discovers truffle butter, right? Oh, everywhere. Omelets, fries, everywhere. Easy to work with tequila and whiskey, you know? Difficult to work with subtle flavors, right? And classics certainly go there.
Yeah, we're in one of your newest bars here, which is actually in the Hotel Figueroa, and this is a reservation-only bar. Is that?
Yes.
That sounds like a bit of a challenge to making sure that it's going to be busy every night, or if you're good enough, people will come.
Yeah, well, we have only 28 seats, so it's not, you know, so difficult to fill it up. The reason we do reservation only is because we want to make sure that everybody who gets here gets the proper experience. This bar is not designed to be a high volume bar. This is a bar that is designed and envisioned to serve cocktails in an omakase way, basically reading every guest, approaching every guest individually, and giving them the suggestions and products that will exactly fit the way they feel at that moment. Taking into consideration time of day, occasion, did they have dinner yet, or is it after dinner? Like all these things the bartenders will do table side. There is a bar cart. We will make certain classics at the tables. This is the bartender's table here, where bartenders cannot reach because it's huge. They cannot reach and serve you as regular bartenders, so they will have to come out and serve you as they would serve you at the table, like a server would, right? So it is this customized experience that I would like to bring to Los Angeles, so that we have a little bit of a different energy, because in the whole hotel there's so many different bars that have such different concepts and energies, that this one clearly will be something unique.
Well, that's it from us in Los Angeles. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Business Class.